Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I'm the founder of Food Truck Training on Facebook, co-owner with my beautiful wife, Melissa, of our own food truck. It's called Food Truck 101, and I'm the executive director of the National Street Food Vendors Association, which is a nonprofit dedicated to education, advocacy, and uplifting all food vendors. All this week, I've been talking about quality service, cleanliness, and community. Yesterday was quality. Today, we're on to service. But before I get into that, I want to remind you guys I'm going to be in Orlando, Florida this year on November 12th and 13th. I'm going to be a part of the Food Truck Owners Expo, where I'll be giving two classes. One is on writing a profitable menu. One is on marketing in the off-season. If you guys are interested in attending this expo, it's going to be a great place to be because there's going to be a lot of food truck owners, budding food truck owners. There'll be a lot of education, a lot of exhibits, food truck builders, all the way to insurance, to health departments, to fire safety, and everything in between. So come check us out in Orlando, Florida. If you'd like to purchase your tickets, go to ftoexpo.com, and when you do, put in the code FTTG15 for a 15% discount. I want to thank Table Needs for sponsoring this episode of the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. Table Needs is a full-service POS system capable of handling your busy food truck, cash, credit card, and reporting needs. So if you guys have an interest in Table Needs, there's a link in the description so you can learn more about Table Needs. So we're going to talk about service. So let's get into service. When you're talking about service, people think, well, it's got to be friendly. And that's true. But there's more to it than just being friendly. What you got to think about when we're talking about the overall guest experience with service, it's not only friendly, but it's got to be consistent, as in we have a sense of urgency, we understand speed of service. We understand also how to handle complaints, because there will be complaints in our business. If you don't get complaints, that means people don't care enough about your business to let you know that, hey, something's wrong. They're just going, well, let's go eat somewhere else. And then once you do have a complaint, how do you recover that guest so they'll want to come back and then become a loyal patron of your business? So let's jump into it. Friendliness. First impressions matter, and that's going to be that smile that, hi, welcome to the food truck. Can I take your order, please? How are you doing today? I write a script for every employee that's guest facing. This is how you handle a guest when you very first engage them. Then I let them put their personality into it. But they've got to have that enthusiasm. They got to sound like they're excited to wait on somebody. And then we practice that. Hi, welcome to the food truck. Can I take your order, please? Or if you want to suggest a sell, then do that. Hi, welcome to the food truck. Would you like to try a double cheeseburger with mushrooms and Swiss today? Whatever the product is you want to sell, but you're doing that suggest a sell as a part of the greeting. That lets the guest know that, hey, number one, I'm saying hi, glad you're here. Number two is, let's place an order, and here's a suggestion if you don't already know what you want. That focuses the guest on, well, let's go ahead and order some food, because they'll have to answer you. Hey, yeah, that cheeseburger sounds good. I will take one. Or, nope, I really don't like mushrooms, but this is what I do want. You want to train your staff. You want to encourage them to be approachable and engaging. The most successful food truck owners out there that I know are approachable. They smile. They talk to people. Guess what? Your cashier is your very first impression the guests are going to have about your business. And if you don't teach your employees how to be friendly and what friendly looks like, they're going to wing it, and we don't want them winging it. You want to make that personal connection when possible. You want to remember your regulars by name or by their order preference. We have a gentleman that comes up pretty much every single day. He orders for himself, he orders for his wife, and he orders for his puppy. And it's gotten to the point where it's, hi, Ron, do you want the same O? Because that's what he calls it. Yep, I want the same O. And for him, a same O means I need a bacon, egg, and cheese on a muffin, I need a sausage, egg, and cheese on a muffin, and I need one sausage patty for my puppy. And that's what we ring up. I'm tempted to make a key on our POS system that just says Ron same O, because he never deviates. So understand what your guests like, and then remember them by name, or at least by what they order. Have a positive attitude. Even when it's busy and the line is exceeding what you feel comfortable with, you still got to have that positive attitude, and you still got to work at the same pace as far as the cashier goes. The cashier should always be in high speed, whether there's one person in line or 60. They cannot go faster when the line gets busier. Why? Because they can talk way faster than you can cook. And there's got to be that connection. And the connection takes seconds. Hi, welcome to the food truck. Would you like to try a mushroom Swiss burger today? And you're going to do that whether there's 100 people in line or one. Okay, I have your order as one mushroom Swiss, one order of tots, and you want a pink lemonade. Would you like to try a brownie today? Thank you for that. Your total's going to be $15.16. Then you do the transaction. Now, everything I just said is less than a minute. I've got a podcast I did a couple of years ago where we do in real time what it sounds like, what it feels like to the guest. So there's a little bit of silence in there because I want you to feel what the guest feels. Because they paid, they want to get the food as quickly as possible. That's where Service comes in, but the service starts with you being friendly, having that positive attitude, and not getting flustered because somebody doesn't know what they want, or somebody comes up and lets their children order. And it becomes worse than trying to pull a tooth because the kid doesn't really know what they want. They're talking really, really low. So teach your employees, teach whoever is that guest-facing employee to be friendly, to be fast, but above all to be patient, but have that sense of urgency. And yes, that's a balance of different things. Just like life is. You balance a whole bunch of different things. Your speed of service is no different. Consistency has to be a part of your service. Consistency means the product comes out every single time the exact same way. One of my favorite food trucks sells an amazing taco that's made with pork belly. When he's on, it's an amazing bite of food. He has an amazing sauce. He puts other ingredients in it that are amazing. But one of the things he has to cook is the pork belly. Pork belly is one of those things that you can take too far and it becomes inedible. It almost becomes like beef jerky on a taco. So you've got to understand that consistency is beyond just being friendly and saying, "Hi, welcome to the food truck. Can I take your order, please?" Consistency has to go through all of your products, just like the quality that we talked about yesterday. But that consistency becomes an expectation of your service. If I come to your food truck 10 times and the first 8 times the service is impeccable, but the last 2 are not, that's my memory of you. Now you're inconsistent. Consistency has to happen, no matter whether you have 100 people in line or you have 1. If it takes 8 minutes to get the food out, it should take 8 minutes irregardless. But you're going, "But Bill, if we've got 100 people in line, how am I going to do that?" You do that by line pacing. The cashier has to stay in character. They have to take the order at the exact same pace, irregardless of how long that line is. Once you collect the money, you have punched the clock for that guest. They are mentally counting down, whether they realize it or not, because they're hungry. And if you consistently get the food out in 8 minutes, they're expecting it once they paid. 8 minutes from now, I'm getting fed. I can't wait. If you disappoint them and you're 15 minutes because, "Oh, I'm busy," the cashier took more orders than they should have, you got a problem. You have to be consistent, not only with the greeting, but getting the food out. Speed of service, I talk about this all the time. It's creating a sense of urgency. Your team has to work at high gear all the time. The guy that comes up and you've been dead for the last 10 minutes and you're thankful somebody came up to buy something should get the exact same service, the exact same quality as the guy that's the 4th or 5th person of a really, really long line. And now you got the teams cranking and they're putting out food. Those 2 experiences need to be near identical. And yes, it's hard to get that way because the stop and starting of our business, we're super busy for 15 minutes and then we're dead for 10, creates that person, if you guys can remember, driving a stick. The very first few times you'd learn how to drive a stick, you always missed the gear when you pushed in the clutch and the car was jumping and lurching and just looking hilarious to any casual observer while you're embarrassed trying to get it into gear. Your speed of service on a food business is the same way. Practice it to where everybody gets the same service, irregardless of how busy or how slow you are, and it's got to have that sense of urgency. Got to. Now, on the flip side of that, after you send out great food and great service, every once in a while you're going to have a complaint. Complaints are your opportunity to learn and get better. Don't automatically cross your arms and say, "Wasn't me, it was that other food truck." Or you think, well, if that's a food truck owner there, he's complaining just to be complaining. And I've heard that, I've seen that, and it's like, oh my God, people, you are not perfect. So let me say that again. You are not perfect. You will make mistakes. And there will be people that don't consider what your standard is to be the perfect way to cook something. What they do care about is it as tender as they want it to be? Does it have the flavor they expected? And was it served in a quick and efficient way so that the food was still hot when they got it? So if you have a guest that comes up and they say that there's something wrong with your food product and you're looking at it going, "There's nothing wrong with it. I did it perfect." You've got a problem. And it's not the guest, it's you as a business owner. When somebody doesn't like what you do, you need to treat it as if it's the most important piece of information you're ever going to get because you want to write it down. Guess what happens when you write it down? You're going to remember it. Now you've got some records. If you start to hear the same complaint a couple of times, you got a pattern. When you have a pattern of complaints, you need to react to it and fix whatever the problem was. So when someone comes up with a complaint, they're actually saying, "Dude, I really like your business. I want you to improve. So what? I will want to come back as a guest." Most food truck owners, they cross their arms again. It wasn't me, but then they don't want to do a refund. They don't want to do anything to make the guests feel like they're welcome. You got to handle complaints professionally. I've got other episodes on how to handle a complaint, but really quickly, it is LAST, L-A-S-T. Listen, apologize, satisfy, thank. You listen. When you listen, it means you shut up. And then you repeat back whatever they said so that you show that you understand what they're explaining to you. You apologize. Apologize is not saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry is about you as a business owner because you're saying, I'm sorry. It's self-denigration. You are not sorry. You apologize for the situation that's been created by the food or the service or what it is they're complaining about. I apologize. We did not live up to your standard. We don't plan on doing business in that way. And then you get into satisfy. What can I do to make it up to you? And then do it. If they want a refund, give them a refund. Don't, well, I can't afford it. If you can't afford it, get out of business because you're going to fail anyway. You're already failing if you can't afford to do a refund. You just don't know it yet. As they say, on death row, that's a dead man walking. If you can't afford to do a refund, if you automatically think that all the people in the world out there are against you and all they want's free food, get out of the business. Find something that you really enjoy because it's not food service. In some cases, giving a refund is the best thing you can do for yourself and your business because it ends the conversation. They may never come back. You may not want them to come back. But if you give them the money, make that refund, they're less likely to be a problem to you going forward. But if you cross your arms and say, nope, no refunds, you will have a continuing problem. So don't be afraid of doing refunds, but handle the guests. So we got listen, apologize, satisfy, and then you thank them. Thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. If you ever have a problem in the future, please come see me and we'll make it right. Then you got the one thing that most people don't remember, and that's guest recovery. So you've got the complaint. You may have a complaint on social media. You got to recover them. You want them to come back. You want to extract more money out of their purse or their billfold in the future. You can't do that when you cross your arms and say, well, you must be a food truck owner. You're lying. You are not going to win that argument. Guest recovery means that you're going to, again, write down what's wrong so you can see patterns from other guests that do complaints. You're going to get name and address or name and phone number, name and email, name and some way to contact them so that you can follow up. Whenever you have a negative complaint, you want to follow up. You want it to be one-on-one. You do not want to make it public. So when someone complains on your social media, hey, send me a private message. Let's discuss this and let's make it right. That's all you got to say. Now, whether they send you that private message or not doesn't matter, but at least to the future readers of that complaint, they'll see you as being the good guy. They'll see you as somebody that's trying to make it right. And they'll be forgiving of the negative responses you've had on your social media. Providing that outstanding service is more than just a pillar in our operational model. It's the lifeblood of your food business. You got to have great food, but you got to have better service. People don't get that. We have people that still say, yo, they'll wait on good food. They'll wait on it because you have kidnapped their money. They can't leave. So yeah, goofy, they're going to wait on the food because they paid for it. And yes, they will say, yeah, the food's awesome, because now you give them that euphoric state and they've started to eat and their hunger is being satiated. So they're no longer pissed because you were slow as molasses. So they're going to tell you, hey, food's awesome. Go away, leave me alone so I can eat. Because if they start to complain, that means they're now no longer eating. They're having to tell you what's wrong, which you probably already know what's wrong if you're a good owner. Yeah, we gave out slow service. But the people that say, no, they'll wait on good food. Well, they will because you kidnapped their money. Bad food will be forgiven with good service once. Everybody has a bad day. So if you have that friendly cashier and you guys are super sincere about, hey, thank you so much for coming by today, come back and see us tomorrow. And they get down to their office or go home and they open up the food and go, oh, this is awful. They'll at least remember that you guys were friendly and they'll give you one more chance. Now, if you create that pattern of, uh-oh, now we've done it a second time, then they're going to go, nope, we ain't going back, because this is how their food is all the time. But if you have bad food mixed with bad service, they ain't coming back. They're not giving you a second chance. And it's harder for good food to overcome bad service than it is for good service to overcome bad food. Service is important. Learn that as a pillar of your operational success. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the boring one, cleanliness.